they get stuck in that reality that they keep telling themselves that they don't have time, that they don't have the energy, or all the reasons that they can't do it, instead of trying to find the reasons that they can do it. I honestly don't think staying fit and healthy as a parent, as a business owner, is that hard, but people allow their excuses to get the better of them, and they get stuck in that reality that they keep telling themselves that they don't have time, that they don't have the energy, or all the reasons that they can't do it, instead of trying to find the reasons that they can do it. Welcome back, guys. My name is Harrison Orr. I am your host for the Be Better podcast. I am an online men's health and performance coach. I help people just be better their best self by reducing their stress, sleeping better, having more energy, and just being absolute savages. In this episode, I want to talk about how I have managed to stay fit and disciplined as a parent whilst trying to grow two separate businesses, whilst working face-to-face in a gym 4 mornings a week, and still sitting at 10% body fat, still training 4+ days a week, still getting over 10,000, over 20,000 steps at least half of the week, and how I've managed to do this without sacrificing being there for my kids, or for my son, I should say, and all the other things that people inherently think that they have to sacrifice as a part of this growth journey as a parent and as a business owner. And one of the things that I've seen a lot of people kind of get caught into that trap and this is not just not just parents, not just business owners, but that trap of complacency and justification. It is super easy to justify your actions. Like, think about it. If you've seen Monsters, the Menendez brothers case on Netflix, if you've seen, any of those documentaries about serial killers and how they justify them killing another human, I don't think it's that hard for us to justify not meal prepping or not eating healthy or not making it to the gym or not hitting our steps or not implementing that sleep routine or not sticking to any of those habits that we said we would. Like, it's pretty easy in that comparison. And so in a world where there's always that scapegoat, instead of finding a reason why you can't do it, why you don't have time, why you don't have the energy, why it's too hard, it's too inconvenient, or it's whatever else that you've been telling yourself, find a reason to do it. Like, for me, the frame that has helped me the most, and the frame that even when I haven't wanted to do something, even when I've been trying to avoid doing something, the frame that has massively helped me, that I always come back to, is I want to be able to do this despite the obstacles. I want to be the fit dad, the dad that runs the multiple successful businesses, the dad that does all these things, the husband that does all these things, the man that is capable of doing all these things, despite having this disturbed sleep and the responsibilities of being a new parent and figuring all that out, despite, being short on time because of all those factors, despite, not wanting to, despite all these other things that you could come up as an excuse, flip them into, well, that's exactly why I need to do it. Because I want to show my son, I want to show Jax that you will either make an excuse or find a reason to do it. Anything that's important to you, you will find a way, or you will find an excuse. And so, as we know, kids don't learn too much from words, but they learn by seeing us. They learn from our actions. And so that's something that I really want to instill in him as a value. And so for me, just the fact of being his role model is enough of a reason to make sure that I've got my emotions in check, that I've got my health in check, that I've, looking after our family, that I'm doing all these things, just because I want to set that standard and be that role model for him. But I get that's not enough for everybody, right? And so some of the things that have helped me, because to be honest, it's not always easy, right? When you're tired, when you're stressed, when there's a lot going on, especially in the last year and a bit, when interest rates have gone through the roof, a lot of people have felt that pinch financially. And so things like gym memberships, maybe eating, grass-fed beef and maybe supplements or those other little nice to have things have gone out the window or haven't been as accessible. And for a lot of people that are either all or nothing, on something, some of those little things aren't are enough to just not do anything. Like, I know we saw it in COVID, people selling all those pieces of equipment like the bands and all that kind of stuff that you could work out at home. You could very well get a decent workout in your living room because we weren't able to go to the gyms. But is it the same? No, it gets boring. It's not fun, right? And so we're not always able to do the ideal situation, especially as parents and business owners, but finding that plan B. And so that's something that's massively helped me to stay consistent. That's number two. So number one was role models. Number two, so be the role model. Number two is find the plan B, because we know that there's always something coming on. There's always, we had a poor night's sleep last night, or we're busy this week, or I don't feel like it, or it's this, that, the other, whatever. Oh, I've got to do this weekend and I can't because of it's Thursday, or whatever excuse. But find the option B, because and this will happen sooner rather than later if you're a parent and a business owner, when stuff doesn't go according to plan, then tossing everything out the window is only going to hurt your progress. And you're going to get a couple of days into that, or a week, or even a month for some people into that, and think, fuck, I wish I'd done something. I wish I hadn't stopped everything. And so having that leeway with yourself of, okay, well, I don't feel like going to the gym today. I am so freaking tired. My eyes are hanging out of their head. Like, I think I could barely lift a bar at this point. Like, I just feel so fatigued. Awesome. Instead of the gym today, it's going to be a walk in the sun, or a walk on the beach, or you're going to, go sit in the sauna if you have the time, or maybe you might do some yoga at home, or you might do something else that still checks that box of moving your body, that fits in with what you got, with your capacity for that day. Because where I think a lot of people go wrong is thinking that in that space, I need to rest. For sure, you need to rest. Like sleep is very important. No doubt about that. But laying on the couch, your version of rest in terms of sitting on the couch, watching Netflix, scrolling on your phone, doing nothing, is not what our body needs. Our bodies aren't made to sit on the couch, hunched over, watching Netflix and just pigging out. That's not what we're made to do. So you can still be active consider it active recovery, to give back to your body, which, like I said, can be the form of time outside, time in nature, on the grass, in the sauna, ice bath, even if that's your thing. If your nervous system is not too fried, obviously, depending on where you're at in your journey, it might be a Pilates session or a yoga session or something else that fits with you, that kind of resonates with you. Like, oh yeah, I like the sound of that. I feel like that would be some nice movement and help me feel better there. Something that ticks that box, that isn't going to fry your nervous system, that isn't going to kind of wear you down and cook you for the rest of the day. And the same with meals as well. Having options or levels to that plan or that adherence. So ideal scenario is Sunday afternoon, all the food for the week gets prepped, so there's no shortage of cooked food in the fridge. Everything is just literally put in the microwave and heat it up, or just heat it to serve, and it's done. Like, you've removed all possible reasons not to stick to that. And so things happen in life. Like, we have to head down to Bega this weekend to see my wife's family. So we're going to get back probably late Sunday night, if that. And so consequently, unfortunately, I can't spend the 5-hour drive cooking meals. So it's going to have to be option B for next week, or at least the first couple of days till I get time to prep. And so for me, or us, option B is easy to cook foods that are still aligned and still healthy, that don't take up too much mental capacity or too much energy. So first line of that might just be steak and instant rice, for example, or steak and even rice, easy enough to cook. Or it might be steak and roast veg, or it might be your salads, or the different flavors, or pastas, or anything like that, like minimal stuff. Below that, because even that might be like, dude, like that's a normal meal for some people. Like, that still takes a lot of prep and a lot of time. That's cool, right? A lot of this, I'm not bragging here, but a lot of this I can do on autopilot for perks of being a chef for like 5+ years. It helps, right? But then next tier down is like barbecue chook. Buy a barbecue chook at Coles and Woolies. You can buy the roast beef, right? Buy the roast porks or anything like that. You can go to your local spit roast place and get a lot of those cooked meats as well. So maybe buying some of those, getting some instant rices or some pastas, whatever, or even just go to Coles or Woolies and you can get pre-packaged foods. They're like 10, $12 for like a decent one that you just stick in the microwave, and it's got your carbs, some flavors and proteins, and you're good to go. And even with those, the barrier to eating healthy is so low right now that you don't even have to cook. Like, you can live off those things. I know a lot of people that do, just for convenience and for time, because they've got a lot going on. So lean on those things. Go check them out, try them. You don't need to rely on them all the time, but if you're someone that's time poor and it's just did this week thing, how much better is that those options going to align with your health goals, with keeping you on track, compared to, oh, I don't have time, so I guess I'll just have to get Macca's, or I'll just have to get takeout, or whatever you tell yourself. And how much does that hurt, maybe your budget, or your ability to stay on track, maybe time as well, because you go out of your way to then go through the drive-through and whatever else, when you could just have, buy those 10, 20 meals for the week, have them sitting in the fridge at home, and then also your health too. So having different layers like that for your habits can make the world of difference when it comes to sticking to these things. So being able to modify them. And so on to point 3. So first one was role models. Second one was that modification. So find that variation of those habits so that you can, you've got the ideal, but then also when stuff's not going to plan, you've got the minimal effort required version of exercise, of nutrition, of all those other habits. The third one is find a way to enjoy it. Like, I actively like being active. I actively like being very healthy. Like, health is my number one value. So for me, getting extra steps, riding my bike to the gym in the morning, training, all that kind of stuff, I look for reasons to be able to do that because I actively love it. Like, I love moving my body. I love doing that. I love the way it makes me feel. I love challenging myself in that way. And same as healthy eating. Like, I actively like eating healthy food. I even ask my wife, I'm quite pedantic about it when I don't get to eat healthy. I get a little bit stroppy if there's, if we're out and there aren't the choices that I would usually make. So I actively like that stuff. And so if that's something that you haven't quite found yet, get creative. Find a way to enjoy the training. If you don't enjoy going to the gym, don't go to the gym. Find another way to be active. Like, find a way that aligns with your goals. Because unless you want to be a power lifter or an Olympic weightlifter or do something like that, which requires you to specifically lift a barbell or do certain movements, then you don't need to be in the gym. Find something that aligns with you. You might prefer to do jiu-jitsu or go rock climbing or go and play a sport or an active hobby or whatever it might be. Find something that at least once or a couple times a week you do some form of resistance training, which can be body weight. Rock climbing is a good example there, or even yoga or Pilates. It's not intense, but it's still resistance depending on your level. Ideally, you want to be lifting heavier than that, but depending on your what you desire, that's going to be better than nothing. And then something that gets your heart rate up a couple times a week as well. And so that's like bare minimum standards. I'm sure there's something out there that you can find that you enjoy. And so finding a way to enjoy it, or you might just be able to find a different mindset, a mind frame that allows you to enjoy it. Hey, maybe going to group classes you might enjoy because there's a social aspect as well. Even though you're not too fond of the workouts, but you get to do it with friends, you get to do it with other cool people, then hey, that's a fun experience. Or you might like a PT or just a training buddy. Whatever it is, find a way to enjoy those habits. And it makes it so much easier because then you don't rely on discipline. You don't rely on having to grit through it and push through it and do all these things that you don't want to do and yada, yada, yada. Find a way to enjoy it. Like, when you look at the people that are very successful in any field, like I'm talking like hyper successful and do it consistently, most of the time they don't have some unhuman ability to stay disciplined and say no to everything else other than that stuff. They just actively fucking love it, right? They just really enjoy doing that freaking thing. Like you look at Alex Hormozy, look at that dude's life. Like that dude works on his business and trains and spends a little bit of time with his missus at night. And like, is that because he has this crazy amount of discipline to say no to socializing, no to everything else, no to everything else, like anything that doesn't align with either of those things? Like partly, but also the dude just has like a fetish for working on his business. Like the dude actively fucking loves just getting up and spending 8 hours a day either writing the book or writing the ads, growing the business, doing all that kind of stuff. And so it's not a chore. And when it's not a chore and you look forward to it, then you can outwork anybody. Or even for your own growth, you can make it so much more sustainable by doing it because you love it rather than doing it for a certain outcome. And so when you do something because you love it, that's the difference between someone that does something for life, especially when it comes to health, versus someone that does something to get a specific goal. Oh, I'm just gonna eat healthy and work out till I lose that 10 kilos, or I'm just gonna do this until Christmas or till my birthday, till whatever date. And sure, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if that's all you kind of care about, but if you want to have this sustainable for life, some of these habits, then it's going to take a different frame to keep that sustainability, as opposed to going amazing for a few months and doing everything, then doing nothing for another few months and going here, there, and everywhere. And each year just becomes this cycle of looking good in summer, looking good by the end of summer. Sweet, summer's over, don't have to worry about that. Through autumn, piling on some weight, feeling shit in winter, and then, oh shit, starting to get warmer, better lose some weight again, better get back on track. And then you do that cycle, and then you're just on the same hamster wheel on a yearly basis. And that's not somewhere that I want to be. And it's not an example that I want to set for my son either. And because I have also noticed when you put these frames into your health, how much it benefits everything else. Like how much better emotional regulation is when it comes to handling an upset child, or handling conflict, or difficult conversations with my wife or with other people. The presence and the connection that I can give some of these people when I'm not stressed about other things, or I've looked after myself first. The version of me that can show up is so much better. And so the next piece, so we've covered role models, we've covered modifying the things. The next part was enjoying it, so find a way to enjoy it. And the last part, and this is about the way that we view things. Like we said at the start, like when we look for an excuse, when we look for a reason not to do something, I guarantee you'll find one. It's not the right time, it's too late, it's too early, I'm too tired, I don't have the energy, what about this, what about that? And yeah, you'll find a way if you don't really want to do it. If it's something that you actually value, if it's something that you actually want to do for your own health, for the being a role model of your kids, to help and show them how to get healthy, for your partner, for other reasons that you genuinely want to do. And I think that's a worthy distinction, because if you're just saying, oh, I should go to the gym, or I should eat healthier, I should do this, I should do that, but you don't really want to, stop saying it. Dude, there is nothing wrong with not going to the gym, not having a high level of health. Everyone has different values. It's only eating at your own self-worth and your own confidence and your own mental state by continually saying, oh, I should train more, I should eat healthier, I should do this, I should do that. If you want to, there are so many resources out there. You don't even have to go and pay a coach or anything. Fuck, use ChatGPT. There's free apps out there. There's YouTube channels. There's podcasts. There's like all these resources out there that if you wanted to do something, if you wanted to find a way, that you could. And so that's the frame that's helped me. Instead of, I can't do this because of, insert limiting belief or restriction here, flip it to, how can I? How can I find the time to do this? How can I make this happen? How can I do this? And that's the frame that I stole from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said, in reference to the mindset, poor people say, I can't. Rich people say, how can I? The poor person, the poor mindset is, I can't afford it. I can't. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the energy. Like that very negative space. And you state it like it's a fact. It's not even open for discussion. It's not opinion. It's just, well, that's the fact of the world. I just can't. And when we just label that as fact, we don't even question it. We don't even seek to find a resolution. We don't even seek to find a way to solve it. But when we phrase it like, how can I? How can I find the money? How can I find the time? How can I get the energy? How can I get the resources? How can I do this thing, make this thing happen so that I can have better health, so that I can have a better business, so that I can make more money, so that I can have a better relationship with my partner, with my kids, so that I can live the life that I want to live, be the person that I want to be. And then you get creative. Because I guarantee there's someone else that has been deeper into a situation than you, whether weight is your issue or discipline is your issue or money is your issue, whatever it is, someone that's been worse off than you that has figured it out and achieved the stuff that you want to achieve. Can guarantee it. Somewhere in the world. There's like 8 billion people out in the world. I guarantee you at least one of them has. And so get creative. And so I hope that's been helpful. I hope this hasn't been too much of me rambling, but I only was reminded of this the other day. Things like this that come second nature to me just because of how much I value health, how that can be helpful for somebody else. So I hope these frames have been helpful. If you're struggling with that discipline or finding that rhythm for you, then either reach out to myself. Resources are in the show notes, or just challenge yourself on the way that you're thinking. So, hey, do it because you want to be a role model. Whether it's, if you've got kids, do it for them, or for your partner, or for the people at work. You step into that leadership. There's always someone that looks to you for inspiration. Do it for them. For most people, or for parents, it's going to be their kids, because I want to make sure that for him not being able to achieve something was never due to my inability to be that role model that he needed. Second of all, find that modification. Know where you're at. Know the season that you're in your life. Like if you're tired, if you're stressed, if there's a lot going on, cool. Find option B. What's the minimum effort that you can put in to hit those steps, to get an active session or a training session in, to find a way to still hit those nutrient targets so that you can still be on track despite the lack of time or the lack of resources. Number 3, find a way to enjoy it. Find a way to enjoy the training, enjoy the healthy habits, play a game with yourself. For me, I like metrics. So trying to improve my sleep is like a game for me. Like I'll wake up, I'll check my Oura-ring, what stats did I do cool, how long did it take me to get to sleep, what was deep sleep, what was REM sleep, what were all these factors. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to do this. I hypothesize, do this again, do less of this, more of this tonight, and then we'll see again tomorrow. Awesome. And then it's like that never-ending game. So find a way for you to enjoy those healthy habits or those things that you're trying to put in place. And the last thing is, how can I? How can I make this happen? How can I find the money, find the time, find the energy, achieve the thing, be the person that I want to be? And so I hope that's been helpful. Like always, don't be sorry, be better. Take action on something that you've learned today. If there's something that kind of clicked with you, that stood out more than the others, think about how you can implement that literally today so that you can start being more disciplined, be fitter, be that role model that you want to be, and ultimately just be the best version of you. So I hope that's helpful. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.